The most common thing that guys are always asking me to go over is the pass protection punch. So I wanted to make a series of videos to tackle this huge piece of the offensive lineman technique puzzle. The most important parts of the punch, in my opinion, are the way that you carry your hands, the hand carriage, the power behind your punch, the balance that you have while punching, and the leverage that you create on the strike. In today's episode, we're just going to talk about hand carriage, and then in future episodes, we will talk about the rest of those things. So stay tuned, it's going to be a lot of fun, and thank you for joining us on today's episode of Linepro Tips. So what is hand carriage, and why do I need to do it as an offensive lineman? Hand carriage is simply how I carry my hands before I punch somebody on a pass protection play. All right, so anytime when I get out of my stance, I'm gonna wanna have my hands ready to punch. I never know when I'm gonna need to punch somebody, all right, so I always wanna have them ready. I don't wanna switch between having them ready, not ready, up, down, and have it fluctuating around. Why is hand carriage important? Well, the goal of hand carriage is to be able to punch with power and balance and leverage at any given moment and not get our hands slapped down. Okay, so they also have to be really sudden. What does great hand carriage look like? Okay, for me, the first thing is I don't want to have my hands too high and I don't want to have my hands too low. Okay, so I'm looking to have my fingertips go just maybe a couple inches above my navel, above my belly button. Okay, maybe where my ribs kind of meet each other, just above there. Fingertips hovering right in that area, all right? Thumbs, I prefer to have together or slightly up. I see some kids overemphasizing the thumbs up coaching point, and if you're doing that in your hand carriage, it kind of just makes you all balled up, and to me, you could be a lot more powerful than this. With my thumbs in, it allows me to rotate my thumbs up during the punch, which can create a lot of power. It's kind of like how a boxer is not gonna start like this when he's boxing. He rotates during the punch, which creates more power for him. So similar for us, we want to have the thumbs in and then rotating up, something I really like to add power to my punch. Another great factor of the hand carriage, of me keeping my hands nice and tight, nice and close together, is to protect my midline. Okay, if I hold my hands further apart like this, I'm going to create a space in between my hands that a defender is going to be able to punch and hit me in the chest, and now he'll have leverage on me versus me having my hands nice and tight and punching, creating a situation where he's not able to punch inside of my hands. I'll always have the inside position that I'm looking for. The best way to guarantee that your hand carriage is always going to be good is to get it great right out of your stance. Okay, so here's the trick. When you get in your stance, instead of having that offhand, whichever hand's not down, instead of having it be closed fist like a lot of guys do, or hanging down or behind the knee, tuck your elbow in and get that hand right in here where you're going to be holding it for great hand carriage, all right? And have it just start there. And then when I come out of my stance, I'll always snap that offhand to it, all right? So line yourself up next to a bag or a person holding a bag who can line up on you like a 3 technique would on a guard, and then you can just quick set him over and over and over, snapping your eyes to the target and then snapping those hands to great hand carriage, okay? And then from now on, every drill you do, every time you hit the field, do that, keep those hands up, and then watch our next couple videos because we're gonna go a little bit deeper into hand carriage, punch timing, punch power, balance and leverage of the punch. I hope you'll join us. I'm Coach Linny. This is Linepro Tips. We'll see you next time.